I'm so excited to be here today to talk to Gary Garver. He's been in the radio business for over 30 years. And
Ouch.
and he
Yes.
looks so young, so I
Thank
don't
you.
believe it. But I went on the internet and I was looking at all of your work, and it seems really exciting. Can you just tell us a little bit about how you started out in this business?
Well, I mean, I always wanted to be in radio. I mean, I listened to KMET here in Los Angeles and loved the rock station, loved their vibe and their energy, and it sounded like they had a great time. I figured, what better way to make money and have a good time and enjoy a job than to be a rock DJ? And that's what really propelled me into wanting to be on the radio. And as time has gone on, you know, I've been a rock DJ. I've been a producer. Have a talk show now, and just probably done the gamut of radio. And even in promotions, I did promotions, which was a lot of fun. So I've been in a long time, and it's fun. It's a tough business, but it's fun. It's fun. It's a good time.
And you're on the radio 5 days a week now.
I am on KCAA. Thank you.
Congratulations.
I appreciate it. KCAA, 1050 AM in the Inland Empire. Controlled chaos, as we like to call the show. You know, because life is chaotic. Let's just face it.
And what is the website so people know to go on it?
The website is www.kcaaradio.com. You can check it out. The show's on live 8 to 9 Pacific, Monday through Friday. They replay the show at 9 p.m. Pacific on kcaaradio.com, and we're also on indie100.com. So just Google the show, Control Chaos, me, and you'll find it one way or the other.
And, you know, obviously everyone knows you've worked with Howard Stern before.
Oh, yeah.
And so tell us how that started. I don't think a lot of people know. They know that you worked for him, but they didn't know, how did that relationship begin?
Basically, I was working at KLSX here in Los Angeles, 97.1, and I had produced a morning show before that, and they got fired, but they kept me. The station kept me, and they said, just hang in, and, you know, something will come down the pike once we get a new morning show. Well, it took a couple of years, and I was producing the midday show and doing things with the station and things like that, and they liked what I did. And one day, they just came to me in July of 1991, said, hey, we got a job for you. You're going to have odd hours, but it's a morning show. Do you want it? I said, of course I did. I mean, I've been waiting this for 2 years, and it happened to be the Howard Stern show. So Howard, he was on in Philly, New York, and Washington, Baltimore. And then in 1991, he made the leap to L.A., and that was his first West Coast station, and I was his producer. Basically, what I did was I got the feed from New York and cut it up, chopped it up, edited the show, and so for the replay, because we replayed the show at 6 a.m. So that was my job for literally 17 years.
Well, I'm just calculating because it was on East Coast time that he started early in the morning when people were commuting to work. That means, did you get to work at like 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, I'd have to get up every morning. I did this for 17 years. It beat the hell out of me.
Wow.
Actually, it was from 91 to 2006, so about 15 years. I got up at 2 o'clock in the morning, got to work at 2:30, and the show started at 3. So yeah, I was at work every morning for about 15 years, Monday through Friday at 3 a.m. So it was weird because, you know, I mean, you know, you're leaving and everybody's coming into work. You're done for the day, and then your whole schedule's screwed up. But I mean, it was fun. I mean, I wouldn't want to do it again. I mean, getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning,
right.
No. It's hard enough to get up at 6:30 in the morning to do my morning show. So.
Obviously, you were single. You didn't have anyone at home telling you not to wake up that early.
Actually, I wasn't single.
Oh, really?
I was engaged at the time.
Ooh.
When I got the show, and then I got disengaged.
Because of the show?
No, I don't know. No, it wasn't because of the show. And then I actually got in 1995. I met my future wife, and then she would get up with me sometimes and hang out with me at 2 o'clock in the morning. But mostly, I wouldn't see her a whole lot, you know, because she had a 9 to 5 job. So I would be leaving at 2 a.m. Yeah, it was weird. It ended up being a strain on our marriage, and eventually we did get divorced.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's cool. We're friends still, so it's all good.
Who wouldn't be friends with you? You're such a dear.
Please. you know me better than that. Come on, you know. Not everybody loves me, but you got to get to know me, right, Marie?
Gary's always been a dear to me.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
I want to know, when he would have you on the show, did you know in advance, or was it a surprise? Hey, you're going to be on live in 10 minutes. Get ready.
It depended. Not really. I mean, I wouldn't really know. I mean, once in a while I would. Yeah, they'd say, hey, we want to call you. They'd call me before, you know, the day before and say, hey, we're going to have you on the air to talk about this interview. But mostly he would just say, hey, you know,
Get him on the phone.
I'd be listening to the show. You know what I mean? They're saying, hey, get Gary on the line, and I would be like, in the next minute, the Dion, who was the board op at the time for Stern, would go, hey, Howard's on the phone right now, and I'm like, all right, cool. So I would take the call, but I mean, it was really weird. You'd hear your voice on the air. I mean, you'd hear Howard talk about you, and you know, about the interviews, because my celebrity interviews would really put me on the map with Stern. And yeah, they would just call me out of the blue and just go, hey, what's up? And it was cool.
I think that's why people really enjoyed that show, is because it was so unrehearsed and
Spontaneous.
natural and spontaneous, and so people could relate to it. But what's funny is I thought you were a New Yorker and an East Coaster, and I was like, oh, I relate to Gary, he's cool because you were on that show. And then I find out you're an LA person.
Everybody, I mean, I swear to God, probably 75% of the people that don't know me, I grew up in the San Fernando Valley. I'm pretty much of a valley boy, you know what I mean?
I don't think people knew that.
I was born in LA, born in Burbank. I've always lived out here, never lived in New York, ever. But 75% of the people that don't know me and meet me go, God, man, well, you know, when did you move out from New York? And I'm like, well, I never moved out from New York. I
Right.
grew up here in Los Angeles. But of course, you know, everybody knows of Howard from New York, and they assume that. But I was really his only LA connection. As far as like celebrity reporting or any type of thing. I was his main reporter, and the one person that he hung out in LA and did their thing.
Now, did he interview you before they hired you? How did that work?
No, they just basically the program director at KLSX, Andy Bloom, who was awesome. I loved having. He was like my favorite program director of all time.
Oh,
I mean, he was
that's so
crazy.
nice.
I mean, we had a lot of fun because I mean, you know, a lot of people didn't think Howard was going to work here in Los Angeles. That, well, you know, the guy's from New York, we need a local show. It's on tape delay. It's taped. It's on a tape. It ain't going to work. In a year's time, we were the #1 morning show in Los Angeles. And it was all because of Andy Bloom. I mean, he staked his life on it, and he pulled it off. And great program director. No, they just came up to me and said, hey, you know, because I'd been waiting. I'd been at the station for, you know, 2.5, 3 years. I had done everything at the station.
Paid your dues.
I paid my dues. They knew I did a great job. I mean, I was on time all the time. Whatever they asked me to do, I did, whether it was promotions or producing a morning show or producing a commercial spot or whatever they needed, sweep the trash. I mean, whatever, take it out. I mean, they knew that they could depend on me. So I paid my dues, and that's how it came. I didn't even meet Howard for like the first year. I mean, the only time I really talked to Howard, really, and it was at the beginning, was when he was talking about the Magic Johnson, when Magic Johnson got HIV. And, you know, he started talking about how Magic was an animal and how, you know, how could he do this and blah, blah, blah. And I'm a big Laker fan, and I was very upset. And I told Andy, the program director, that I was really upset about it. He goes, why don't you call Howard? And I go, nah, he'll just tear me up. So I ended up writing a 4-page letter.
Oh.
Faxing it to the Stern Show that morning. Later on that day, he starts reading. You know, later on that morning, he starts reading
on air.
on air, and he says, "Get that guy on the phone. Get that our LA producer on the phone." And I'm like, "Oh my God!" And so Howard's like, "You know, you're not on my team, you know, and blah blah blah. And I'm going to have to talk to Andy Bloom about firing you and this and that." And I said, "Yeah, I am on your team, but you know, I don't think what you said about Magic was cool." So I'm leaving the station. I'm like, "Oh man, I'm probably gone." And I see Andy, and Andy's like, I go, did you hear? He says, yeah, man. He goes, oh, that was great radio.
Ratings,
Howard
yeah.
loved it. Howard loved it. I'm like,
Yes.
and then I knew that I was cool, and that a lot of that Howard's, you know, on-air banter and antics are, you know, you can take them with a grain of salt, I'll say. Let's put it that way.
Oh, tell us about Robin. What was your relationship with her?
Robin was cool. I didn't really have much of a relationship with Robin. She was just a person on the show. I mean, I spoke with Baba Booey, Gary, most of the time. I would communicate with him about doing the interviews, and then, you know, from 92 to 95, 96, I had to edit the show because the FCC was coming down on Howard.
Oh.
So I had a lot of communication with them through that, and then later on with the celebrity interviews. But I spoke with Gary most of the time, and me and Gary were cool up until, you know, the last moments of when I left the show in 2008. We had a falling out. I had a whole falling out with the show, and there's a lot of reasons behind it. And check out my book, Radio Blows.
We don't want to give away any more secrets.
Well, I just want to say, check out my book, Radio Blows, because you'll find out what happened, and why I really left the show and got disenchanted with working for Howard Stern. I mean, I was a foot soldier. I would have done anything for him, but they did something to me that really hurt my feelings and probably derailed me a little bit in my career.
Now, you mentioned the title. Is that the title you want to stick with?
I'm sticking with Radio Blows. I've been wanting to say that. Other people told me other titles, but I like Radio Blows.
I love it.
You know, because it does blow.
That'll stick.
In so many ways. It blows in so many ways, and you'll read about it in the book.
Well, you have a right to say an opinion on it because 30 years is a long time.
Yeah.
So you're a veteran and you have strong feelings about it. But you know, I was Googling and I saw there was an interview on the radio live where he and Robin were talking about how wonderful you were and how sorry they were that you were leaving. And there's a YouTube out there talking about that.
Oh, really? I love to hear it. I miss that. But listen, you know what? Things happen. I got tired of doing the interviews. I mean, it was very stressful to going out and interviewing celebrities and asking them crazy questions, and I was always getting attacked, and I had to keep my cool. And once in a while, I would lose my cool. I mean, people would grab me, or you know, they'd look at you. I mean, listen, there's tons of negative energy coming my way when I go out on the red carpet. Tons of it. Even I just did an interview with you. In fact, you were there, Oscar night, just recently, and somebody got upset with me. A publicist got upset with me, and I haven't done an interview with them for 10 years. You know, I mean, they're still so. I mean, it was a lot of friction. It was hard.
Now, will things like that be in the book?
Oh, absolutely. I have talk about my top 10 favorite celebrities and top 10 celebrity a-holes. I talk about how I broke into radio, which is very, very interesting. This was back in the late 80s, and it's a very cool story. It was the way radio used to be. I don't think you could do it nowadays. I don't think that how I broke in would work nowadays, but you got to check it out in the book. It's cool.
So it's a tell-all.
It is. I just talking about how I broke into radio. You know, my career with Stern. When the FCC came down on him, what we had to do, that he almost got thrown off the air before he even got this big of a mega star. I mean, it came very close for him getting thrown out off the air back in like 93, 94.
But Gary, nowadays, do you think that people are doing things on the radio that he was in trouble for back then? And so...
Oh, absolutely. I think
it's kind of crazy, right?
I think he revolutionized the way we speak in America, the way we utilize our language. I mean, he was the master of it. I've always said it, and I will always say it to the day he dies, hopefully before me. He's like the Michael Jordan of radio. I mean, there's nobody that can touch him. I mean, there's a lot, you know, I mean, he was fantastic in the way he could take stories and twist them and turn them and speak about them, and the way he interviewed the way he does interview celebrities is unbelievable. So, I mean, the guys like a Picasso, as far as like radio goes, I mean, just because I had a falling out with him and I don't appreciate what he did to me and how he hurt me, doesn't take away the fact that he's the greatest broadcaster, greatest radio broadcaster, I think, on the planet. I
mean, because you're such a dear, you don't hold grudges, you forgive and move on, and you've been very successful since then.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, you know, I mean, it's a bummer that it went down this way. I mean, I wish it would have went down a different way. I wish Howard and I were friends again, or I could do, I'd like to go once in a blue moon to an event and cover it and just do stupid interviews again, just for the show. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing that. I feel that they hurt me by what they did to me. They did something very, very hurtful to me where I was banking on them to help me out here. I gave them a project. It was with Howard TV. And
you wanted support.
And I'd worked on it for 6 or 7 months, and we're basically in negotiations to put it on Howard TV. And they took the idea and did it and blew me off and took the name of the idea and did it. And then deny that they ever did it.
I'm so sorry.
And it's a fact. If you Google A Day in the Life, you'll see that they did it. But anyways, it's in the book.
It's in the book.
It's in the book. You'll have to read the whole story. I don't want to give away too much, but that's what hurt me most. And I think I got disenchanted with the show, and that's why I sort of self-destructed and did some of the antics I did the last year and a half, where I just went off the deep end and did a couple stupid things, said a couple stupid things that I regret. But listen,
I never heard those stories, and I'm sure a lot of people don't.
Well, it's okay. Listen, even if you did, it's cool. Listen, we all make mistakes,
part of life and a learning experience.
You can't deny your mistakes. Sometimes you do stupid things. You know, I did a stupid thing. I did a couple stupid things. I could have kept my mouth shut and just been a good foot soldier and, gone my merry way. But that's wasn't my MO.
It's hard to do. I want to go back to the fact that when you started, your initial job was to edit and maybe participate in the show live sometimes when they called you up. But how did you get the assignment to go on the red carpet and do all that stuff?
Just out of the blue, back in, I think it was 1997, they put out a memo. Gary sent a memo out, and it was posted in my studio that they were looking for people to do Stuttering Like John interviews, you know, throughout the country. It wasn't just LA, it was throughout the country. So I called Gary up one morning, and I go, hey man, I'd like to give this a shot. So he says, go for it. So I just found an event in the LA Weekly. It was a Whoopi Goldberg book signing over at Book Soup here in Hollywood.
Oh.
First one I ever did.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Good trivia.
I waited like in line for like 2 hours. I didn't, you know, when you're doing a book signing, usually the media can go straight in and get their interviews, and then, you know. But I waited. I bought the book, waited in 2 hours, and I had my microphone
Aww.
there. It was okay. It was cool. I just didn't.
Sweet of you.
I had no clue what I was doing. And I asked her a couple stupid questions, and they got upset, and the security guard actually shoved my book and put it on the ground.
Did she sign it?
Yeah, she signed it,
Okay.
but she shoved it on the ground, and I said, pick up my book to him.
Ooh.
It already started with me. Pick up my book, and I made him pick up my book, and I went on my merry way. That was my first interview, and they thought that was cool, and
And they loved it, right?
They blossomed from there. I mean, I did so many of them, just countless interviews.
She's a comedian, so I'm confused.
The comedians are the most unfunny people to interview in the entire planet. They're the worst. They have no sense of humor.
They dish it out, but they can't take it.
They cannot take it. They are just the weirdest breed. But yeah, that's a part of the book too.
That's part of the book. Cool. Now, do you think that young people starting out might want to get a book like this so that they can learn about the industry before they start their careers? And
Sure. I mean, it gives you an insight. If you want to get into radio or entertainment in general, it's got a lot of good things. It tells you really about the reality of the business, whether entertainment, music, whatever it is. That, you know, people are going to do certain things to you, you know, hurt you, possibly help you. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of insight. It's inside the radio. I mean, you know, Los Angeles, Howard Stern. You know, I don't think you could break in the way I broke in. I don't think you could do that.
Not anymore.
No, you couldn't do it the way I did.
There's too much competition.
Well, I mean, you know, mine was a very bizarre story. I don't want to. Yeah,
that's in the book.
Yeah, it's in the book. Read the book. But I think it's great for I think it's great for kids and anybody that wants to know about an insight about what the entertainment business is about, especially the radio business, what it's all about.
Will you go into your family life and
No, I don't want to go into my. I just talk about my radio career. Yeah, I just talk about the radio career. It's a fun book.
Radio blows.
Yeah, Radio Blows. It's a fun book. Go get it. Check it out. Have fun with it. You know, and then, you know, at the end of it, once you're done with the book, you know, you can use it in a bonfire. You know what I mean? Just put it in a big bonfire at the beach. You know, have a beer for me and enjoy it. It's Radio Blows.
And there will be a book on tape with interviews as extras.
Absolutely. I'll have the book with I'll run my celebrity interviews. Absolutely.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to read your book, and I can't wait for everyone else to read it.
Well, thanks, Marie. Thanks a lot, and I appreciate it.
It's so nice to talk to you. I love you.
I love you too, baby. Thank you so much.